YouTube, it's Brian Phillips. Thanks for being here with us. We've got a ready to fly sub 250. This comes out about 118 grams, SU27 from RadioLink. Looks really cool. Push your prop. We'll show you about that nylon, that nylock in there. And then under here, we've got a flight controller, receiver, and just 2 servos. Also, if you want to relearn the attitude in your auto leveling, sticks down and out together while you're in the top setting. I'm in stabilized mode, but I'm going to show you that right now. Careful, that it is easy to bump the throttle stick on this plane. And let's launch right now. There it is. This is a full telemetry equipped plane, by the way. Okay, so we're gonna get out of the stabilized mode. Okay, you wanna go about 14 steps forward, please. So now we're just in stabilized mode. And the thing is super capable, actually. Really fun to fly. Inside out loops, all the stuff you expect. Kind of a little bit nose heavy with the current configuration of battery. And that would be a 600 milliamp 2S, 600 milliamp hour 2S. And just so you guys know, you can fly this on up to 3S, which is pretty sweet. Now it is a bank and yank. And of course there's no simulated mixing of a rudder like I would normally do because we're using the provided transmitter. But so far so good. Does feel like it's kind of wanting to lose attitude a little bit as we're flying. So I'm gonna slow down. I'm gonna go into the wind and see if I can get this into high alpha here. Yeah, no rudders. It makes it hard to do high alpha when you don't have a rudder. But you know what's cool about this plane is it's just really strong and it does well and no damage when you bump the ground and things like that. All right, we're gonna go pick it up. Okay, so as you can see, the camera crew is gonna hold this for a second. Look at my televon. That is very weird. Camera crew is gonna be super careful not to start the motor, but it looks like that slipped on the rod. Yep, that slipped again on the rod. Okay, well that's not good. So what that tells me is that that needs to be checked and tightened. Look how easy that's adjusting. Not acceptable. So let's go ahead and fly some more with that screwed up. Yep, it's already changed position. Did you see that? So that would explain some of the wonky behavior I'm noticing. But even still, I can still fly the thing, which is very surprising. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna walk back to the house and we're gonna keep flying because I want to fly. Oh, it's so much fun. Even with the janked control rod, we're still having fun. Hey, do you remember another SU27 that we flew with the janked control rod?
Yeah, I seem to notice a pattern here.
SU27s, SU30s. It doesn't matter what Russian plane it is, we seem to screw them up.
Yeah.
Oh wait, we do J11s too, guys. So here we go, we're gonna go inside, we're gonna tighten that screw. Look how easy it is to land, just like it's a nothing task, super easy, really fun to fly. We'll be right back. We were just in here, it feels like. Okay, this is the one, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So I wanna make sure I'm in nothing mode. So it's not trying to auto level or anything. I'm gonna grab a Phillips, probably like that middle range. Is that too big? Yeah, that's about right. Loosen that screw, set it to where we want, and then tighten that screw. And I mean, I'm gonna tighten it like I mean it this time because I didn't have to tighten that the first time and that's why we had this problem. Then I'm gonna come over here and tighten this one. Okay, and I don't know if you guys see that jerking. I have noticed that in RadioLink setups. I don't understand exactly why that happens, but I just torque that down like crazy. See that jerk I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. I don't understand it, but it is definitely a thing we've seen before. Okay, so now that we've done that, we're gonna go fly this thing some more. But I just wanted to let you guys know, if you do get this plane, check it out from the links in the video description below. You can support Brian Phillips RC when you buy things that we have down there. If you don't like this one and you want to see other SU27s that we've crashed, all you have to do is go to byme-db and search by type. You'll see them there. We'll be flying in a second. Okay, so I relearned this position for my home position in auto leveling. Oh, that's cool. So if you're a beginner and you want to fly slower, then you can set your attitude higher. But I just want to warn you about something. This is a bank and yank plane. So what does a bank and yank plane do best? Need rudders.
That's what I was gonna say, but I thought maybe I was missing something.
So if you guys are brand new to flying and you want to try the bank and yank high angle of attack, it's really fun when you get out of the throttle, especially if you got wind like we do today. I'm just cruising along, almost slope soaring. Except I'm not really slope soaring. I'm using the throttle of the aircraft to fly us around. Okay, now I'm gonna go to just normal flight mode with stabilization. Now that we've tightened up the control rods, oh yeah, she's loving it. She's doing just good, don't you know? I really want rudders on this thing. Why are there not rudders on this RadioLink? Okay, there's full throttle, not a speed demon, that's for dang sure, not on 2S at least. And just to be clear, yes, you can fly this plane on 3S, right overhead. Okay, go into the middle of the runway here. So she does good, but it's kind of like, you know, fly-by suggestion a little bit right this second. Definitely has something to do with the wind, okay? So I just want to make sure that's clear, but honestly, for being 118 grams, this thing is doing great given the windiness that we're facing. Also, I have to say, out of throttle, the thing glides pretty good, and that's partly because they have this thing set up really pretty nose heavy. So I was thinking we could fly it inside, and you guys will get to see how that worked out in our unbox build radio setup portion of the video, which will be at the end. So if you guys are brand new to Brian Phillips RC, I'm gonna do these littler planes, kind of economy, toy grade, hobby grade, hybrid planes. A lot of times we'll do shorter videos because there's not much build involved. In this case, there's no exception, but we just want to point out the fact that I am doing some high alpha. That's pretty cool, given the fact that we do not have any rudders. I got into a little bit of a lockout there, which just basically means that I got myself into an angle of attack where there was washout over the control surfaces. And I didn't really have total control of what I wanted to do, and that was kind of frustrating, but not unexpected. I kind of did it to myself. So folks, if you're brand new and you've never seen RadioLink before, RadioLink is gonna have some cool offerings for you. They're kind of an economy offering if you ask me, but they're economy in only the price tag. They have lots of cool technology built into these aircraft, and that's super fun for those of you that want to get started and you want some telemetry and all those goodies. You can have that, but you do have to run an app on your phone or some other smart device that would have a Bluetooth connection, and then you can see said data while you're flying. I do not care, so I'm not going to do that. But what I would suggest is, because we fly a lot of different airplanes on Brian Phillips RC, the thing actually flies reasonably decent, especially given the fact that it's so windy and kind of crappy. The auto leveling works really good, but does limit your attitude, or excuse me, it limits your ability to turn. And I about crashed into the house earlier. I don't know if you guys picked up on that, but I did, because I was flying and I was like, oh crap, I don't want to crash into the house. The good news is, even if I had crashed into the house, I don't think it would damage this thing, because this profile plane is just super basic construction. And it's not even like really foam, it's polypropylene, right? Mm-hmm. Which is technically foam, but it's not like EPO or EPS, which we have had EPS SU27s. That's right, I just remember Esteban had one. And it was super fun, and I did fly that one in the house, but I had a way more sophisticated stabilization system, and I had rudders. Oh wait, did I have rudders on that?
I don't know which plane you're talking about.
There's an SU27 that's camo blue with a white base. Yeah, it was big.
Oh, I forgot about that.
It was super fun.
Did it have a bad
Screamed,
linkage?
it was so loud. Huh?
Did it have a bad linkage anywhere?
You know, it might have.
Probably.
I think I still have that plane somewhere. Oh no, that was Esteban's plane.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a MiG-29. That was not an SU-27, folks. Do you hear that noise?
That was interesting.
You hear it? You want to know what that noise is? I'm going to demonstrate what it is. I'm going to bring it in for a landing, which means I need to go behind us, sorry. And then I'm going to bring it back toward us.
Okay.
Hey, just stay there. There it is, guys. Okay, what's that noise? Throttle cut is non-existent. Hold that still.
Yes,
don't move it,
I won't.
okay? I bet.
Is that loosening?
Huh, if it is, I thought it was loosening there.
Yeah,
okay.
that's what I was guessing.
I'm gonna go to auto leveling and just take off here. Hard on the throttle. If you use a 3S battery and you get into 3S and you fly this thing around on a calm day with that high alpha, you are gonna really wish you had rudders, because look how sweet that is. Because I'm telling you, once you get into high alpha configuration, all you need is a rudder to just walk around all over the place and just have a good old time, folks. But this isn't auto leveling. I'm just taking it nice and easy, just chillaxing. Looks like I'm flying around in ground effect, except that I'm like 15 times above ground effect. Look at this. That's awesome. Super fun. Where's the manned aircraft? How far?
He's way up high.
Okay, I just need to be aware of it so I
Yep.
can. Yeah, he's way up high, but he's right above us. Show the people the manned aircraft real quick, because that's a cool looking plane. What the heck is that? That is awesome. Come land in my backyard, dude.
I can't see him.
That is so cool. That looks like is that like a T-28?
It looks like a D-28. That's what I was thinking.
That is so cool. It could
so
be.
like a D-28.
Okay, guys, sorry.
Okay.
Squirrel. Here on Brian Phillips RC, we don't just put on a show and pretend like we like these things because we're giant nerds. Oh, it's dead.
Oh, maybe that's the.
What the heck? You're like a minute late. We would have been landed.
We would have won.
Okay, guys, all joking aside, this beeping is the most annoying thing I've ever had in my life happen to me, okay? And it's exactly what happened on the last RadioLink. It just beeps incessantly, just makes me want to throw it into the ground so it blows up in a million pieces.
I think, though, if you had that app on your phone, you could change that.
Also, we're running this on a LiPo. Check this out.
We are.
Watch this. Boom. That's from another airplane, a competitive brand, no less. Yeah, you can run this like on 4.5 to like 18 volts. It's really weird.
It says like 2, 3, or 4S lipos.
It's got a huge operating range, and I know operating ranges. So the airplane's sitting over here somewhere because it died. It wasn't like some super hard to read experience. There's supposed to be a deet, 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 except it's been deet, deet, deeing forever. Okay, ever since, see, there it is again, see? Skip the deet, deet, deet. So if you want a really good read though, I'm gonna tell you something about this plane. Get this plane just so you can read the manual. But seriously, this plane is pretty fun. It does what it claims to do. Is that guy going in a circle?
I don't know. I can hear him, but I can't
I don't know.
see him.
We
in
have
the
to
sun.
respect manned aircraft on this channel because we fly, and people in airplane equals they get the right of way. Unless I'm the people in the PPG, and then I
You
have to get out of the way.
So no matter what
Of the
you do.
747.
Yeah.
Or I think the only thing, I think we also, yeah, we have to get out of the way of hot air balloons too. So that would make a good video, provided it was not people.
Right.
I was just thinking of powered paraglider versus hot air balloon.
It's like the only thing you're going to actually get out of the way of anyway.
Yes, that's true. The 747s, they do not respect us. And wake turbulence, if you don't know what any of those things are, you're on the right channel to learn things like that. Brian Phillips RC. This plane, is it any good? Yeah, it's fun. Is it gonna like replace your other SU27s? Maybe if you had a linkage that ripped off the end and you crashed it, it would. But otherwise, the answer is probably not. But is it fun? Is it an economy offering that's sub 250? You better believe it, guys. And the other thing is you could probably fly it in a large gymnasium or a couple basketball courts, and that might be really fun. But obviously it's a little bit windy today. It's not unflyable, but it's just not real super comfortable flying. When you wear shorts in February in Iowa, which I don't know. It's probably up to me. But the thing is, I am in winter denial right now.
This is called false spring.
False spring.
And Brian doesn't believe that.
I don't believe in that crap. This is real spring.
No, it's not.
We were just arguing earlier about
We
taking
were.
the plow off the tractor.
Bad idea.
And all I'm gonna say is there's still snow over there.
There's a lot of snow around still.
There's still snow over there.
There's still snow way up there on the, in
Yep.
the ditches.
And there's some snow on the backsides of hills.
We
but
could easily get feet more of snow.
I am just gonna say this. I am saying today, on whatever day it is in February, it will not snow again in 2024 in Iowa.
You're a liar.
At least here. Here.
I'll take you, I would bet you.
So now that we've
See,
made
well,
that
that
bet, we could just
because-
wait to release this video until the season is over. So guys, if you want to help support Brian Phillips RC, just stay watching. We're going to do the unbox build radio setup. We'll show you a couple of details about adding nuts and also fixing screws. You'll want to watch because they're both good tips and you'll need them. So stay tuned. So much more coming from Brian Phillips RC. If you want to support us in other ways, smash the like button, click the bell for notifications when subscribing, and then obviously Patreon, PayPal, YouTube super thanks, and YouTube members are always appreciated, but we'd rather you just buy awesome stuff and fly and then support us by following the links. It's the easiest way. You win, we win, and then the companies that we work with win. Not everything we do on Brian Phillips is the fastest, cheapest, biggest, sleekest. We don't do that crap. Every RC product has a time and a place, and this might be the perfect time and place for you to get this RadioLink, or not. We'll let you guys decide, and we hope you guys answered all the questions you had about this product by watching our video. And if we did, or if we answered part of them, smash that like button on the way out the door. But stay tuned, unbox is coming next. YouTube, it's Brian Phillips. What do we have for you today? We have shorts. This is called Denial, okay? SU27, RadioLink. Pretty fun stuff. This thing is a ready-to-fly option, sub 250. Comes in about 118 grams, if I remember right. And comes with a transmitter or different variety of package offerings. It does have auto leveling. It's on channel 5. I have it in stabilized, but I'll go ahead and go to auto leveling. Sticks down and out, and that's gonna relearn whatever attitude you want, which is pretty cool. But we will try to fly it inside for you in the unbox build radio setup. Now, one thing safety-wise we noticed about this transmitter is that if you bump it, it might start that prop, so be super careful. And I am right-handed, so I'm trying to figure out how the heck I'm gonna do this outside. So I'm gonna start like this. The wind is over my shoulder, so I'm just gonna go ahead and give her a little bit of throttle. Whoops. Transmitter on. It's kind of a good idea. I'm gonna give it a little bit of throttle. There it is. Auto leveling seems to work pretty good. When you let go, it pretty much goes level. We'll show you a shot of that here in a sec. Oh yeah, it's doing really good in the wind. Will it flip over? Nope, it's limited on bank angles, both up and down.
Even in just the...
This is an auto leveling. Now you'll notice that there's an auto hole where the prop passes through the bottom of the plane, which is good. Now, even in auto leveling, I'm gonna come out of auto leveling. Now I'm in stabilized mode. Really good roll rate, surprisingly good.
Yeah.
And it didn't break. That's pretty awesome. But we've got some sort of beeping going on. We're gonna find out what that is, and we'll go get the plane and come back. Okay, so I wanted to show you how it landed. Oh, look at that, pretty good. No problem at all. Just a little bit of schmutz in there. I haven't crashed that quick in a video lately for a long time. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set this at a high angle of attack, and I wanna show you guys how to do this if you want. If you wanna just hold still, camera crew, I'm gonna put it on your leg.
Okay.
Okay, oops. I'm gonna put it on her leg. Now watch this. Down and out. Oh, I gotta be in the stabilized mode. There it goes.
There it goes.
You see the jerk?
Yep.
So now that's level, okay? Okay, if your nut comes loose, camera crew's gonna hold that. If your nut comes loose, that's because it spins the same direction as the torque of the motor. So you gotta put a nylock on there. All right, we'll be right back. We'll show you how to do that. All right, so this should come in your set, okay? Come in from flying. Unplug your battery if necessary. You can also put this on before you go flying. I just wanted to see if it was gonna be an actual problem or not. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna work this off, okay? And then once that comes off, you can just tip the thing up. And this would normally be fine, except that it's spinning the wrong way because it's a pusher prop, okay? Now this nylock just has a little bit of nylon in there to hold onto the threads better. And so we're gonna go in here and just start it. Camera crew's gonna move the camera angle so you can see. And then all I'm gonna do is just twist that. It's pretty simple stuff, nothing too difficult about it. Do this way, obviously. You don't have to dismount the motor. And then it comes with this little tool. If it doesn't come with it in yours, then use a crescent wrench or a sizable wrench, okay? So I am going to now turn this and it's gonna push in and make a purchase. Can you show them from above, please? You see that little gap? You're gonna have to turn the light on and get down there. You see the gap, guys? Hard to tell with that clear prop, but there's a gap, okay? That gap needs to close. And I don't think, yep, so I just spun it. You see how I spun the prop? That's something that's very critical to do. Now I can tell I'm in the nylon part because I can barely spin that, okay? So as a result, I'm gonna get another tool that's gonna help me to hold the stator or the outside portion of that motor. And I'm not sure what the best choice is gonna be honest. But in this case, I'm gonna try needle nose pliers first. This is somewhat of an unusual maneuver. We don't generally have to do this in a foam plane that's this light. So if you get a little nervous, just pull the whole motor out. Just don't squish this hard. We just need enough to turn a nylock. So I'm gonna actually grab the front where I don't have any chance of, collapsing that case, the actual bell housing. Okay, so you see how I'm holding that? That's allowing me to turn. And I don't want to scratch the finish on there. Okay, so far so good. Oh, dang it, I let it slip once. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep going. Now I'm kind of grabbing pretty hard and there it is, okay. So let's go ahead and make sure that spins free. It does, we haven't damaged anything. And so as you can see, I did supplement the tools. I believe yours is gonna come with this, okay? If you don't have this handy, you could use a crescent wrench if it has a small enough head, but we also have another really small set of wrenches that would come in handy for something like that. Again, we like to show it the way we see it on Brian Phillips RC. We don't pull any punches, especially not for vendors when they, make decisions. We want to share exactly the outcome. So that's why we added this clip into the video. And so hopefully the flight that we do, you'll enjoy. Guys, if you have questions, leave it in the comments below. This obviously falls at the end of our unbox build radio setup, so we wanted to just share exactly how it works. So now you know, and I would suggest putting that on at the beginning. We were thinking maybe it'd be a fluke, and this might be something that most people don't lose. If you don't have a nylock or if you've lost your nylock for some reason, you could probably pull that off and do Loctite, but you're gonna have to let the Loctite dry before you put your nut back on because that prop is plastic and it will damage the prop and it will eventually blow up. I promise you the solvent will kill your prop. That's guaranteed. You can also try to glue it on, but that would be really hard to remove, okay? So just a couple thoughts in case you're in a pinch. I want to help you here on Brian Phillips RC. So thanks for watching, guys. So much more to come right around the corner. Pretty good plane other than the nut. We have something serious to talk about today. We're gonna open this box. And it's very dangerous. Ooh, whatever that means. We're gonna cut it open. Guys, if you're brand new with us, welcome. Brian Phillips RC here with the camera crew, my wonderful wife of many years, many years. Oh yeah, it's an SU27 from RadioLink, amazing. It has a stable mode. Okay, camera crew, if you could read this.
That says stabilized.
No, it
gyro.
says Euro.
Oh, then now you're making me hungry.
Euro.
And then that says manual.
Okay. So anyway, we've done at least one other RadioLink and pretty impressed with the way it worked. It had a lot of technology crammed into a small and reasonably inexpensive package. And on Brian Phillips RC, it's not always $850 plug and play planes. Right. Sometimes we do cheap stuff because we know everybody is all over the place in their RC budgets. And that's not to take anything away from $850 balsa wood planes or, you know,
Or
things,
other
things. Things like that are expensive. And we understand that not everybody has the RC budget. But the thing is, that's cool about these RadioLink products, so far so good, they have been a hobby grade experience in a kind of toy grade price point, which is unusual. Now, again, I don't want to get the horse before the carriage, but the truth is on Brian Phillips RC, we're not a big bestest, fastest, cheapest, greenest, bluest. We don't do that. What we do is we say, hey, this is how it worked by demonstrating ours. The tab was not pushed in. It was like pulled under, weird. We don't do that here on Brian Phillips RC. We show it the way it is because at the end of the day, what point is it if we come on here and just tell you how amazing everything is? Because that's what, you know, people call BS, as in business status.
Right. Our son actually really likes the RadioLink 3D plane that we have.
Oh my goodness, it's super small.
Really small, smaller than I thought.
I didn't know if it was gonna be really big or really small. I mean, we knew about this one, we knew it was coming, and so we're excited to be doing it. Okay, as you can see, this is the transmitter evidently, and then this is the book for the plane. Okay. So that's always nice. Oh look, it's got a freak smiling face.
Oh. Ooh.
Hi kids.
One of our kids is totally gonna keep that, you know.
Yes, they will. Okay, so we have a 3D profile plane, and you guys might like to see. This is a brushless setup with a RadioLink receiver, RadioLink flight controller, 15 amp brushless ESC, 2 servos that control the televons and flaperons. Or no, these aren't flaperons. These would be just regular ailerons. And then we have a SZ Speed brushless motor, a 1306 4000 kV. So that's a lot of revolutions per minute. And then we have a JST plug. And that's pretty sweet. Looks like basically a little S-bus PPM, 5 volts in ground through a RadioLink. And then this is the flight controller. So pretty cool. A little bit different setup from what we're used to. As you guys know, we're kind of Spectrum fanboys and girls here on Brian Phillips RC, and that's okay because RadioLink has definitely got a popular market share in the, especially in the economy entry level point, but they make some good stuff, especially given the fact that it's usually pretty cheap. Okay, so what the heck is that? Windows, Android?
You can download an app, I think, right, if you want to make changes to your parameters.
Yeah, so you can make your changes, but this is FHSS system, so it'd be a Futaba protocol. That's interesting. And then there is a battery opening. So this can use either, okay, so that would be 2 1.5 volt cells and 2 1.5 volt cells in series. So that would be obviously more capacity when they're in parallel. These two are in parallel to each other. It looks like, no, it's 4 1.5s in series would be a total of, that'd be like a 2S pack, right? Well, no, that'd be what is that? That'd be 6 volts. So I guess if you did a 2S pack, that would probably work. Because they got this JST plug here, I'm just wondering if we could get away with using a LiPo. But I mean, you're gonna discharge a lot slower on like alkaline batteries. Well, we'll check on that, make sure we give you guys a report. I'm not seeing batteries in here yet, but I do see a battery for the plane. And when I say batteries, I mean batteries for the transmitter. This one is really, it's falling down in the pocket. Cool thing about this package is it looks like you can pretty much snap it together. Okay, so what do we have here? JST plug, balance lead 2S, you can tell because there's 3 wires. And then it says 7.4 volts at 600 milliamp hours. So yeah, I bet this thing would work on a regular 2S pack.
Battery.
And then I'm just looking, there's a spot here where batteries would probably go if this was being shipped in China, I'm guessing. And then this is where another transmitter could go. That's kind of weird. Look at that. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Where's the transmitter? Would it fit in there?
Is that box empty?
That box feels kind of empty. I mean, it's not empty, but it feels kind of empty. There's something in here. This is probably going to be the vertical stabilizers, okay? And then it comes with, ooh, there's a little piece in there. Don't lose that. It's a black box with a little black piece. This says hook and spring for throttle stick to be self-centered. I don't know why you'd want to do that. Okay. But you can install that if you want. You would have to take this apart. And then this has an in and an out, a signal, and NC, so like ground, and then VCC. So it tells you how to do that. It looks like a PS2 connector. Not to be confused with the PlayStation 2, but PS2 is a type of connector if you guys weren't already aware. Okay, and it comes with some tape. That tape is a fiber reinforced tape, which would probably be to reinforce the hinges when and if they break, because they will eventually. It comes with a black prop if you don't want the clear one. And then it comes with a screwdriver, and then of course 3 different control arms, which is nice. And this is listed as a screwdriver. Okay, so that's interesting. Then of course the rest of the stuff that's in the box is right here. This comes with a balance charger. Okay. And let's check this out. All right, so this looks like kind of one of these little fancy small DC input, 5 volts, USB-C, and then output balance lead plug.
Nice and simple.
Nice and simple, right? Yeah, okay. That's pretty cool. We'll go try that right now, in fact, so we can get that charging, and then I'll show you a couple of alternative charging methods if you don't want to. Now, this is the status. I'm gonna show you this. If you need to read the instructions, you go ahead and just read. Okay, ready, go. Just kidding, guys. If you didn't already know, you can whip out your phone if you have an Android. I don't know how it works on a Apple, but you pull up Google and you type the word translate, and then you can point your camera at this. If they got a little picture of a camera, you can click it, or sometimes there's a mic, and you can listen, and it will automatically translate words live, which is pretty cool. Or you can point it at this, and it will translate
populate
that.
It right where it is.
Yep. Right where it sits on the page, which is really nice. So anyway, but all joking aside, guys, those of you that are speaking English can read this. Am I blocking it with my fingers?
No, you're fine.
Okay, so if you need to know how this thing works, I'm not even gonna read it myself. I'm just gonna go plug it in and show you if it works. Just like I said here on Brian Phillips RC, what we're all about is helping you guys get off the chair and into the air, especially if you're returning to the hobby or if you're brand new to the hobby. Either way, we wanna help you guys. We don't discriminate between returners and new pilots. Okay, so this is an Asus charger. Looks like we have a orange base. That's kind of weird. Wonder if it's, oh, it's 6 amp rated. Wow,
Goodness
pretty
gracious.
cool. Okay, so this thing is only gonna put out a lot less than that, okay? So I'm glad we talked about that, because maybe we need to get ourselves one of those bigger, more powerful. This thing feels, woo, it's kind of long and heavy.
A little floppy.
Yep, all right, so stick that in, should be ambidextrous. Okay, and you can see that there is 3 LEDs that started, and there's 2 more blocks left. Okay. As I turn that, you can kind of see, it's a little hard to see in the camera otherwise. Okay, so that's gonna charge. Now, real quick before we get too far into this charging sequence, I'm gonna use one of 2 tools. This is an XBC battery checker from Spectrum, and then this is just like a cheapy flying battery alarm that also will tell us the voltage. So yes, admittedly, that's been plugged in for a few seconds, so negative, which is marked down here. This goes 2 through 8S. You can do 1S too, by the way. So we're at 8 volts, 3.99, 3.97. So shipped with a little bit more voltage than I would normally see in a storage level, which would be about 3.8 volts on a LiPo. And then this is the XBC battery checker. Minus is all the way up, and there you go. So you can see a little bit more precision there. Okay. Now, in case you guys were wondering, if you ever have a 1S pack, you want to test it on here, this is 2S. So it might fry your circuit, but you can put a JST in there and you can actually make that contact too. I don't want to destroy this, but just in case you were wondering. Now, that being said, if you don't want to use the factory charger, which should be fine to make provisions for this, you can turn on your smart charger or your smart charger or your smart charger or your smart charger or whichever smart charger you've got. That's between you and God. But what I am going to do is I'm going to show you one method. Where's the JST? Do you see a JST? It's
probably over here.
JST right there. Okay, so we have a JST adapter that goes to IC3. So the IC3 plugs in. Then you can grab your JST, plug it in. You can see 7.9 populates on the screen. And then you go like this. And then you go up to the charge speed. Because this isn't a smart pack, you can go down to whatever it is. And this one is, as you can see from the side, it says 600 milliamps. So 600 milliamp hours. would be 0.6 if you want to charge at 1C or 1 times the capacity. And so if you were to charge it at 2C, that would be about 1.2 amps or 1200 milliamps or thousandths of an amp. Okay. That being said, that'll charge really quick. This will probably charge too slow, but it'll work. So there's a red light there. I just wanted to point that out from RadioLink. Okay. We like to show different charging options because we understand that when you guys buy planes, you're going to be buying planes in a real world and not necessarily the world of whatever they happen to be reviewing. Okay. So some of you guys are going to love that. You're going to pause that. You're going to use it for your own videos. Just link, send it to me so that YouTube can block it. All right, guys. So we've got the bags of goodies. We've got the center neutral return stick. We've got the instructions for the charger. We've got the charger. That's what comes in the box. Let's talk about building the plane. It comes fully assembled. Sorta. Except it's not. But this is pretty dang close, and so I'll give them credit for it. The other day we had a plane that we did, and it said something about, what was it they were talking about?
Bolt together assembly.
Bolt together assembly. And Step one, glue. I was like, what? Oh, it was just hilarious. Good times. The Chinese, they're always tricking us, sneaky Americans. Okay, so we have 2 vertical stabilizers. It looks like there's an embedded piece of carbon fiber, which is nice. It'll help with stiffness. This stuff is designed to take a licking and keep on ticking, but not so much with the carbon fiber rods, if you ask me. There is a protective hard plastic on the tip, and this is very, very flexible. What was this, polypropylene or something like that? So it's like a different type of product, but it is quite light. As you can see, it's not gonna get broke when it runs into your couch or your head. Maybe don't hit your head. This is gonna snap on. Let's show you right now. Okay, there's 2. I'd like that to be pointed outward. Okay, so you can see there's 2 snap points. Really simple, basic. It just snaps in and there it is. Okay, a little bit of an internal dihedral going on here, which I don't know that I'm a big fan of the fact that those are tilted at an angle. That's kind of goofy, but I guess that's what they did. Okay. So the SU27, I don't think has that feature in real life, and I'm kind of a scale aficionado, so just kidding, guys. This thing's probably not gonna look very scale. All right, so without further ado, our next step is going to be to get some batteries in the battery bay, and we're gonna show you that step. Stay tuned. All right, so we went and got some batteries for this, which you could use just your run-of-the-mill AA batteries. You can stack them into here really easy. Minus goes in, snaps down, holds it. Plus goes that way, minus goes this way. Then minus, the flat, goes in there. And then just like the diagram shows, you've got that. Or it runs on like about 4 to 18 volts, which we read in the manual. So I'm gonna use this from an XK-A300, okay? So we have a JST end. This one is charged. And so if you just look right here, if you can scooch that way, then you'll be out of my light. And then I can plug this in. Okay, so it's plugged in. And then this little battery can sit in here. Now this might not be super high on capacity, but it's ironically the same size battery in terms of the amount of charge there, capacity, but it's a little bit different dimensionally. So it's gonna be harder to fit into this pocket because I was thinking we could have a couple of batteries to flight on right away. But you can always just use AA's. Either way is gonna be fine. And as you can see, we've got, you know, lights, camera, action. Okay, so it comes on and it works. So that's really nice. And then that saves on AA's because obviously if you've got a million planes sitting around, you may not wanna use batteries in all of them. Okay, so the next step for us is to figure out exactly what we need to do for setting this thing up. And the best way to do that is to read through the manual. So we're gonna do that for a second and give you the highlights. Okay, so we went to put away the AA's and I just noticed that I can put that tray in there because I didn't want to store it another way. And that worked out really sharp because that'll help hold our smaller battery. Now your application, it may not work. This just happens to fit nicely. So I'm gonna go in here. Now the other thing too, I was just gonna mention as we're talking about batteries, see it doesn't have as much room to slop around in there and cause a problem, possibly come disconnected. One other thing to keep in mind is when you're ordering your RadioLink planes from the links in the video description below, which is how you support Brian Phillips RC, make sure you order it with the number of batteries that you want when you order it. If they're offered with different package sizes, go ahead and get as many as you can afford because they're always like really cheap when you get them here, okay? All right, so we're gonna read this and come right back. All right, so I could give you the highlights or the lowlights. So obviously we're gonna do neither because the lowlights are like most of this manual. It's hilarious. You'll just have to buy it to see what's in it, okay? But I'm gonna tell you one thing that's really helpful is the back part of this manual is really helpful. It talks about where the modes are. In our case, we don't have the same transmitter that they show in the manual, but modes are over on channel 5, okay? So there's an auto leveling mode they call stabilized mode or stabilization mode. And then they have a gyro mode, which is like AS3X or stabilization, like we would call it. And then there's a manual mode where there's no stabilization at all. Okay. In their stabilized mode or auto leveling mode, this thing will automatically level, but you can cheat in an attitude on the plane, which is pretty cool, by holding the sticks down and out, and you can cheat it in, which is gonna give a higher alpha configuration for flight, which is really cool. So I wanna try it. We're gonna see if this thing, first of all, binds up. It should already be bound by the factory defaults. Also, you'll have to read how they talk about replacing the prop. I'm just gonna tell you the easy way. See how the prop is? That spins and it pushes air that way, okay? If you take this off and put it on backward and it still pushes air that way, it's not gonna have enough efficiency with full throttle to fly. Okay, generally speaking, there is no general speaking because the motors can go both ways. Make sure the motor is going the right way, okay? This is a pusher configuration. If this nut backs off on you and this falls off, they recommend a nylock, okay? You may get a nylock in your kit. We did not get it in a kit, but we got it in a package separately, okay, ironically. All right, so now when loading your battery, like we talked about, this is your balance lead. This is your discharge lead. How do you tell the difference? The one that has the discharge lead has 2 wires, and the one that's a balance lead has 3 because this is a 2S pack. So it's 1 cell in series with 2 cells, or second cell. So 1 cell in series with 2 cells. This is parallel to this. So the red is the same as that, and the black is the same as that, and then there's an additional line that would connect into the middle of the 2 cells, okay? So positive of first cell, negative of first cell, positive of second cell, negative of second cell. Positive of series, negative of series. Positive of series, negative of series, okay? All right, so I'm glad we got that all worked out. I'm gonna slide this in here. If you're brand new to RC Aviation, we'll help you figure out things just like that. And then we'll help you guys to not burn your house down, hopefully, if you're careful. And because lipos are one of the biggest safety issues in the progression of the hobby, let's say. That does not seem like that's gonna work very good. See this strap? I'm just showing you how to do this. The other safety concern in our hobby is, of course, props. And so you'll wanna be careful you don't get cut because look how I'm doing this. I'm doing it with the battery disconnected because if I was connected, that could potentially lead to some very upset parameters on Brian Phillips RC. Okay, so you see that? Now we have the throttle stick down. There's no throttle cut on this thing. Throttle cut being a switch that you switch to prevent that from spinning. But there are some checks and balances that will work, okay? So this is gonna initiate right away when it's plugged in. So I wanna make sure we plug it in and then quickly flip it over. Plugged it in, quickly flip it over. That dance tells you that it's active. Now, camera crew's gonna come with me. We're gonna talk about the direction of travel. So elevator up, elevator down, roll left, roll right. Yaw left, yaw right doesn't exist because there's no rudder, okay? Now, while controlling the plane, I'm gonna give throttle. By the way, that's on 2S. This plane comes equipped with a 2S battery. It will fly on 3S as well, which is pretty cool. So we'll try it if we need to, but if 2S gives us enough power, we'll probably just stick with it. Okay, so this is going to tell us if we're in auto leveling. Yes, we are. It's trying to find the quickest route to level. And then as you can see, it's trying to bring it to level. Now, if you want to change the angle of attack, what you would do is camera crew and I are gonna work together on this one. I gotta get this cable twisted so that it will not touch the ground. And she is going to carefully hold this upright when I tell her. Hold on. Down and out. Okay, hold it up. More. Okay, now let go. Now look. Now it's trying to get to the angle of attack that we just set. Pretty cool, huh?
That actually worked.
Yeah. Okay, now I'm gonna have you do it more extreme. I'm gonna have to hold it right here. And I'm gonna do the same thing. You're gonna have to hold it steady. You gotta actually hold it steady.
Okay.
Down and out. Hold it steady, you're moving. Okay? So it moved the prop for a second too, did you see?
I did.
So now look, it's trying to find that level. Now watch this. I'm not even gonna give it any throttle. I'm just gonna glide it across the room and it's probably gonna stall, okay? Just wanna flip up like this. See, not enough airspeed to conduct what I wanted to conduct.
Oh, okay.
But I just wanted to see if it would do it. And it's kind of cool. I don't know if you guys could see that, but that light's glowing through the plane. So that's pretty neat. You can tell what mode you're in by that light, I think. See this? Watch. Nope, you can't tell what mode you're in, but you can tell you got power, okay?
Oh, okay.
So that would try to bring us level, which is pretty cool. I bumped that stick, guys, full disclosure. So that's how easy it happens to get cut, guys. Okay, so I'm curious if this thing, that thing moves a little bit on its own. So I'm just gonna see if it will fly. I need kind of a lot of room here probably, I'm guessing. Woo! So it'll fly into your other planes. So you might want to be a little bit careful.
Stack of planes.
I'm nervous I'm not going to have enough speed, but this battery might also be a bad pick for an indoor flight because it's a little bit heavier than the 3S battery that I have in mind. This is also going to make it more nose heavy, which will be easier to fly for a beginner. Okay, so beginners, lay it flat, sticks down and out. And then when you see it tweak, then you know it's actually centered itself, okay? So that's for auto leveling. That's when your mode stick is all the way up. Now, if you go to the middle, that's stabilized and you can tell the difference because it won't try to find the quickest route to level, okay? It's just gonna stabilize it, okay? So let's see how this works over here. I don't think this is gonna really work very good for us. Probably gonna have to fly too fast with that battery where it is. I need that battery back a long ways to fly inside. See, we have enough power to fly, but I don't think we have enough stability to fly in here with the nose heaviness, okay?
Oh, okay.
And then this is gonna shut off the auto leveling and stabilization. There's nothing happening. Stabilizer, auto leveling, it's gonna be the same, but it's also fighting to try to bring it to a level condition, okay? Trying to bring it level, right? Okay, so I'm gonna try one other attempt at a somewhat slower flight. Here, I'm just gonna lay this somewhere safely. So I'll lay it on the couch like this, sticks down and out. Okay, so now that's what it's going for, okay? I wanna try to get this to go just because I can.
I think you should go to the hallway and like come towards me so
Okay.
you're not going towards the planes.
Okay.
I'll hide in the pantry if I need
Okay,
to.
guys, here we go. We're gonna try, we're gonna fly it outside, don't worry.
Yeah.
Okay, so that just fell down our stairway. Our stairway, that's probably 20 feet, well, 17, 18 feet down. I'll get it, hon.
Yeah.
It didn't damage anything, obviously. As you can see, it's still trying to fly, but this battery is just gonna be too far forward
To fly in a small space.
to
like
fly in a
this.
small space like this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and de-energize it. We're not gonna worry about retraining it anything, okay? The way you get this battery out is you loosen the strap just a little bit, stick it back to itself, and then kind of walk it to the side, okay? And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab a 3S battery that would normally be used for an ultra micro, okay? Let's do that.
Okay.
So an ultra micro extreme UMX. This is and we'll link to the batteries we used, okay? This will be just something that will make it more tail heavy by using a smaller battery. Because obviously the center of gravity has been taken into account by the manufacturer since they have a socket for you to put it in, okay? So this one is gonna be similar in size. Oh yeah, that's gonna totally work. But this, because it's lighter, and it's gonna give us a less of a flight time. But look at that, oh yes, it fits, totally fits. Awesome, I didn't know that was gonna work. Now this is so small that we're probably gonna have to go, we're gonna have to rotate, here, let me do this. Yeah, then a prop gets in the way. I'm trying to figure out a way without damaging my vertical stabs. I don't know if you guys can tell what I'm talking about, but the vertical stabilizer, all that's holding that up off of the prop.
Balanced on it.
So now I'm pushing with my thumb, that helps a lot. I'm pushing with my thumb that strap, and it kind of gives you the ability to then press in, okay? I wanna get that centered so it doesn't tip, okay? So it's kind of centered neutrally in there. This is a really flexible stuff, so that's good and bad because there's not much resilience to it, but there's also not a lot of risk. Okay, so I hadn't caught on fire. That's always a great sign when you're talking about a 3S configuration on a 2S stock setup. And it's already remembers its home position that we just trained it on. Now this is gonna be more powerful and it's gonna be more tail heavy, which means it's gonna be more sensitive and easier to crash, but I think it's gonna give me the juice I need to do what I wanna do, which is fly around the living room. Woo! I think it might do it, but then I was having visions of crashing into
I'm nervous.
the turbo timber.
I know. That's the only thing I'm really nervous about.
Can you imagine the grief we'd get if we did that?
Yeah.
Let's start over here.
Okay.
I just don't know if I have enough on the surfaces because it's blowing everything through the middle. We're gonna try again, one more time. Yeah, it's got the power, but I'm gonna really have to work it.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna tell you guys from personal experience, I have had a couple of different profile planes that I've flown inside just like that. And I'm talking big ones. So I'm a little bummed, but this thing is small, okay? So I'm gonna give it a couple more college tries here. I just don't wanna hit the TV or the other planes. Yeah, see, we have plenty of power, and as you can see, it's getting around. It's got plenty of power, it's just that I'm chickening out on the power, which is unusual. I usually don't chicken out on stuff like this.
Well, inside. But
I don't have rudders. Okay, whoa, whoa. Don't get cut, guys. Don't get cut. I'm telling you, the lack of rudders is what's doing it for me here, guys.
That's probably true.
The lack of rudders, when you're in that high alpha configuration, if we were outside, it'd be no big deal.
But the's no way to
But there's no way to yaw the
yourself,
aircraft.
Yeah.
And so all you get is this control axis. And if you're up here, how do you arrest this motion?
Right.
You kind of don't. Okay, so real quick, down and out. Okay, now that it's taut, its home position, that's ready to fly. Okay, so this thing will fly. It'll do cool things. Also, in shaking this, it starts the prop. Watch. Or bumping.
Yeah.
It releases the stick. So just as always, the two things we talk about with safety in RC aviation is gonna be, of course, LiPos. Smaller the battery, the lower the risk. The bigger the battery, the larger the stack, the higher the risk. So be prepared. Charge your batteries on a hard surface, it's non-flammable. If you live in an apartment where you don't have a great place to charge, find a kitchen sink, put it on a plate, something like that, that's gonna be a non-flammable. This thing will burn really quick if it burns. I've never had a battery catch on fire, except for when I caught it on fire. Meaning, I was doing stupid stuff and I meant to catch it on fire, but there are people that have had it happen. So just be careful. I would rather have this catch on fire and burn a dinner plate than burn a house, okay? But generally speaking, these chargers are getting better, the technology is getting stronger, and they're more likely to damage themselves and just not work than they are to catch on fire. Whereas when they first came out, the lithium polymers were a lot less controlled and the battery management systems have gotten better. Did that just go again?
I don't know, I heard something.
Yeah, it started again. So, but the other thing too, I'm just gonna say is the other thing that people get hurt on is this, on props. So just be aware of it. It's not like something you need to be afraid of, you just need to respect it like anything else, okay? That being said, the RadioLink does have an app that allows you to make adjustments. I'm literally just gonna show you the app on the screen because, you know, when we start getting into our personal cell phones and stuff like that, it gets hard for us to film. It gets hard for us to film because then we're having to watch out for, you know, contact information and things like that.
But you can change if you want to get into that app. You can change all sorts of parameters.
But keep in mind, and this is one of the big takeaways from the manual. Okay, I'm gonna go into just stabilized mode so it stops doing that. This thing is the flight controller.
The little white one.
It's doing whatever it does. This is just acting as a receiver. Okay. And then if you ever have to do any self-repairs, the manual is pretty adamant not to do that.
Right.
Which is ridiculous because we repair everything in RC. So anyway, hopefully this thing flies really good outside. I'm kind of excited, but as you can see, it's quite windy. So what we're gonna do is we're probably going to have to save this for either a bigger indoor space or a calmer time to film. We might go out there and just do a blooper reel real quick in the crazy wind. But the truth is RadioLink puts out a pretty nice product. So if you guys are even remotely interested in this product, check it out from the links in the video description below and help support Brian Phillips RC when you do buy. Because remember, we understand not everybody has a $1,000 budget for an airplane, you know, or $600 or $700 budget for an airplane. But we do like bringing to you some of these fun, more economical options. And we also want to help teach you how to take advantage of the product to its full potential. And also, we want you guys to know how to do it safely and safely so that you can come away with all your fingers and not be in a burned down house. So that being said, we're glad you're here with us on Brian Phillips RC. If you want other ways to support us, check out other videos in the playlists that are on here, right here on YouTube, or you can go over to byme-db.com and you can check out our domain there, and things will be sorted for you by type or by manufacturer, whichever way you want to look. And then I think we have like a beginner planes tab. So either way you want to look at that, just keep in mind we have a toy grade level, and then we kind of have like a hobby grade level, not necessarily in our lists, but that's what we enjoy in the RC world. And you've got like a hobby grade type product over here, and you've got a hobby grade / toy grade over here, depending on which one you're looking at. And this falls squarely in the middle, okay? Because you've got hobby grade controls with a toy grade finish. And that is a weird place to be because the market of people that are interested in hobby grade equipment are interested in this, and the people that are interested in toy grade because they've got a lower budget or maybe they don't have the skill set are interested in this. But I'm gonna tell you something that we've really been impressed with the RadioLink as we close out this video. And that is that they have done a really nice job of merging the two. And we've seen a lot of good hobby grade small planes from a few different manufacturers, and they do a nice job of making a controllable and fun to fly airplane. Even if it is still technically gonna be like a consumer grade, toy grade finish, we've still got hobby grade electronics, which is nice. Brushless motors, good servos, 4.3 gram servos, by the way. And I already read off the specs on the motor, but that is a good motor. And if you've got 2 or 3S compatibility, that's really big. And then the fact that you can use a rechargeable LiPo in here is a really big deal. But I can definitely tell you, I'm not a big fan of the fact that throttle starts. And that's what, if you get parents, if you're watching this with your kids or watching this with respect to getting something like this for your kids, remember, kids do get cut. Adults get cut more often though, because there's more adults doing this. And the truth is you'll want to be very careful because every time I bump into something, this likes to start every time, okay? Just be aware of that. It's something that would be assuaged if you were using a higher quality transmitter, something like this or similar. And you can also use other Futaba style transmitters on these applications too, if that weren't already clear, because when you get to RadioLink, you can use their whatever transmission protocol you want. And all you have to do is bind to it, which is really cool. So RadioLink, of course, sells different options, and you can bind them to your little transmitter, which is over here, okay? So there are options for that if you decide to do something like that. And then you could make an assignment for something like a throttle cut, and that would give you that extra safety margin. Okay, so if you don't know what I'm talking about, all you have to do is immerse yourself in Brian Phillips RC for a few videos and you'll probably pick up on those details. Granted, they are long videos. We do long format predominantly here on Brian Phillips RC. Once in a while, you'll see an exciting short that we've put together using our long footage, but in general, this channel is all about high quality content that's gonna teach you something, and it's not always gonna be the most fastest, cheapest, best products. That's not what we do here. We show what they really do in real world environment with an average pilot, not some expert pilot. I'm just a very average pilot, and we want you guys to be able to extract the most value as you can possibly extract from each of these choices that we bring before you. And we think this will be a good one. And so we're super excited to see it fly. I'd like to do a gymnasium flight if we can get into a gymnasium, and I'd like to do an outdoor flight. And hopefully you guys have already seen that at the beginning of the video. We try to do these unbox build radio setups. Not much build in this, obviously. Not much radio setup because this is coming as a ready to fly package, which reminds me, we need to weigh this thing, okay? Now keep in mind, all up weight sub 250 would allow you to fly with 0 regulations, but if you fly indoor, there are no regulations either. So if you fly inside of a building, then you're legal to fly without any sort of drone registry, at least as it is in the United States currently. Check your local laws. I'm not a lawyer, don't get me in trouble. 111 grams with the 600 milliamp, or excuse me, with my smaller battery. I'm gonna go ahead and just pull this one off for the sake of explaining. That does fit perfectly, by the way. This 3S pack is a perfect fit, okay? It's gonna give us a lot less flight time. I guarantee this is still gonna be sub 250. Okay, she's just throwing it on there. Yeah, 118. We're only talking about a couple of grams difference there, folks, and we're otherwise golden. So if you guys want a sub 250 fun experience, something you can get into without breaking the bank, look no further than RadioLink for this product here. And I think it's gonna be a really good choice. Also, if this is just totally not for you and you want a big full scale, you know, SU27, we've done that too. I've crashed those also. We did another SU, was it 34? I can't remember.
30, we've done an SU30.
SU30,
and a couple of different
SU27s. Yeah, that's right. So if you guys like what you see here, don't forget to smash the like button and click the bell for notifications when subscribing so you can tell when there's content right around the corner, which there always is on Brian Phillips RC, sometimes 2, 5, 6 times a week, just depends on the week. But we like to bring you the latest and greatest as soon as it comes out. And then sometimes we'll do different products that look like they might be attractive for you. All right, that's all we've got for you today. Thanks so much for watching. Other ways to support us, Patreon, PayPal, super thanks, and YouTube members are all welcome and appreciated all the time, but we still firmly believe, and we try to reiterate this every video, if you want to support Brian Phillips RC, the best thing you can do is smash the like button right now. And if you're watching on a smart TV, come back and smash the like button when you get around to your history on YouTube, and then buy planes like this. It's gonna be the difference between helping us to maintain relationships with different vendors that send stuff out for review. And that doesn't mean that we always give you a perfect, you know, best, greatest, fastest, cheapest. That's not what we do here. So we just want to keep this ecosystem of RC up and running. And that means that if people can invest themselves as business owners into making one of the most complex things that you can make and selling it at one of the worst margins in the history of time, we want to reward any company that's insane enough to make RC toys that fly. Because anybody can make a car and make it drive on the ground. There's 0 regulation. It's so much easier other than batteries, okay? And RF, I guess, technically, but the Chinese always break those rules anyway. But if you're starting to make airplanes, it gets so much more complicated. The labor's harder. There's a smaller workforce available. There's a lot more complex, expensive components, and you have to keep everything light. You have a lot more engineering involved. You have a lot more chance of failure. And so we really want to encourage the companies that are making good quality products that fly to keep doing it. And how do we do that? By helping them to sell airplanes that are cool. We don't expect you to buy every airplane that we review, but we do expect you guys to help us engage this RC infrastructure that we depend on, which is called, you know, RadioLink and Horizon and, you know, Tower and, you know, OMP Hobby, and all these different companies we work with have been kind enough to work with us. But even if they weren't working with us, There's tons of amazing things you could do out there to make a buck. And if anybody is crazy enough to make that helicopter or this airplane or this transmitter or a battery or a charger, we want to reward those companies that are doing it, because I don't want to have to design lipos. I don't want to have to make radio systems. It's just too complicated. I don't even want to build an airplane, for God's sake. But yes, there are people that love doing that, and that's why we review laser cutters and laser engravers and 3D printers and things like that. And we know a lot of you guys love that stuff, and we're not trying to beat anybody up, but the vast majority of the RC hobby is going to be just like me, people that go out and work for a living. They come home, they use their limited time budget, financial budget to get the most amazing experience they can in this, one of the best intergenerational, clean, family-friendly, fun things you can do, which is flying RC aircraft. So hope you guys are getting the picture, and we know you will, because you keep coming back and you keep supporting us. So thanks for doing that. That's all we got for you today on Brian Phillips RC. Come back for more. Thanks for watching.